Hello and welcome back. So we'll jump straight into Monday where I had a healthy fry up. To do this, I grabbed some Richmond sausages and chucked them in the oven, and then followed by chopping up some onions, some red peppers, and then I put those all onto the stove to cook. While they cooked, I chopped up a bunch of mushrooms. You can have whatever veg you want here, but these are my three favorite vegetables. And once they'd all cooked for a bit, I added a bit of balsamic vinegar, some chopped tomatoes, some tomato paste, for flavor, some smoked paprika. And usually I would use cannellini or butter beans here, but all I had were tins of mixed beans, so I added those instead. Just give that a good stir and get that heating on the stove. For the last couple of minutes, I added in a sachet of harissa paste. That gives the beans a really good smoky, little bit spicy flavor, and I cooked that for 2 more minutes. While that cooks, I chopped up some coriander and I threw a slice of brown sourdough into the toaster. Once that was done, you simply plate up, get your toast, add your beans on top, and then chuck a couple of sausages on the side. If you are someone who loves eggs or misses eggs, this honestly is a great fry-up style substitute and you won't notice they're missing at all. I ate breakfast late that day, so I wasn't hungry until dinner. On the weekend, we were at Borough Market and picked up a couple of Pieminister pies. So I chucked that in the oven for about 25 minutes. This is simply a pie and veg, so you can have whatever vegetables you want, but my favorites are peas. I always have peas when I have a pie, so you just get that on the stove to boil. I've got some cavolo nero here, which I just added some olive oil and some garlic. I gave that all a good stir. I added some salt and pepper on top, and you just place that to the side. Then you chop up, again, whatever veg you want. I've gone for broccoli here, 3 green veg with my pie that night. I find just chopping off the bottom of the broccoli and ripping the leaves off is best. Once the peas have been boiling for 5 minutes, add your broccoli and put it back on the heat for another 5 minutes. The broccoli sits on top of the peas, so it steams a little bit instead of boiling. And the same time you put your broccoli on, put your cavolo nero on as well. Then I just made some gravy. The red Pesto gravy is suitable for vegans, so I always just use this. Stir it to your desired thickness and you're good to go. Plate up your pie, the veggies you've made, and you've got an incredibly hearty, vegetable-packed dinner. This is one of my go-to lazy meals, as I know it packs in a bunch of goodness and you can't not love a pie. As I said, these pies were from Pieminister. If you are in the UK, they sell them in supermarkets too. And they've got one which is a steak and ale made from jackfruit. I would absolutely recommend this if you can get your hands on it. It is absolutely divine. Then on Tuesday for breakfast, I made my all-time favorite berry pie oats. For this, you'll just want to chuck in any berries you can find. I always go with frozen, they're cheaper and last longer. I then pour oats on top and cover those with unsweetened almond milk, but again, use whatever milk you choose. You want to give that a good stir, kind of patting it down and make sure all the oats are covered by the milk. And then you just want to stick that in the microwave for 3 minutes. While that's in the microwave, pick whatever toppings you like. I always have a mixture of pecans and walnuts. They are my favorite nuts. And once it's done, I take it out the microwave, sprinkle those on top. I add some pumpkin seeds because I've got them in the cupboard. A little bit of maple syrup, and you're good to go. My all-time favorite winter warming breakfast. For lunch, I warmed up that bean mix from the day before. Today, I decided to have it with some tortillas. I was making it for 2 of us, so I grabbed 4 tortillas. You want to fold them in half like that and just stick them straight into the toaster. While that toasted and the beans heated up, I chopped up some lettuce, a little bit of coriander, and you're ready to plate up. Stuck on some Hellmann's vegan mayo. Put the lettuce on top. and just dress whatever toppings you've decided to have with your tacos. I grabbed some cherry tomatoes as well, as they needed using in the fridge, and then I just topped it with my bean mix. And every vegan's favorite, the one and only nutritional yeast. Definitely could have plated this up more beautifully, but it tasted unreal. For dinner, I wanted a kind of chickpea sweet potato concoction, so I decided to make jacket potatoes with a chickpea curry in the middle. I just started by stabbing my potatoes. I was doing quite a few potatoes for the dinner that night, so stabbed them all, got them in a bowl, and then I chucked them into the microwave for 15 minutes. In the meantime, I got chickpeas, covered them in curry powder, some chili flakes, and some olive oil. Gave them a toss and stuck them in the air fryer for 10 minutes, but you can put them in the oven for 20 minutes as well. When they come out, they should be nice and crispy. Once my potatoes had been in the microwave for 15 minutes, I took them out, stuck them in the air fryer, but you can put them in the oven as well for another 20 minutes to crisp up on the outside. While those potatoes are cooking, it's time to start the curry. So I chopped up a pepper. You can use whatever color you have. I just had a yellow in the fridge. I then chopped up red onion. And then I made a spice mix. So here I've just got some garam masala, some garlic granules, and some cumin. I fried the spices alone in a bit of oil for about a minute. And then I chucked on the rest of the veg and cooked that all up together. You want to cook that all together for about 7 minutes, and while you do that, just peel some ginger. This I find by far the easiest way to do it. You just grab a small spoon and you drag it across. The skin will come off really easily, and then I just simply grate that in a cheese grater. After your veg has been cooking for about 7 minutes, chuck in your ginger and also put in 4 heaped teaspoons of tikka masala paste. Give that all a good stir, cook for 2 more minutes, and then add 2 tins of chopped tomatoes. Once your mixture has started bubbling, add in your chickpeas that you cooked earlier and leave that all to cook for about 15 minutes. In the meantime, I'm making some cucumber raita. Apologies if I've butchered how you say that. You just start by de-seeding the cucumber, chop it up into thin sticks, and then chop the other way to make small cubes. I'm then going to very thinly slice some white onion and then chop up a bunch of mint. I'm going to throw that all into one bowl and then add some free-from yogurt. I use this ASDA one without sugar. It's still got a little bit of sweetness, which is why I add so much cucumber and mint and then a squeeze of lemon as well to take out a bit of the sweetness. Once your potatoes are cooked, you just want to slice them both ways, dump a bunch of curry on top, and then spoon on your Raita, and then I just added on some coriander as well. I love these dinners in the evening, just full of fiber and goodness and none of the processed meats. Not that they're bad, I eat them a ton, but it's just nice to mix it up every few evenings. For breakfast the next morning, I just popped in a slice of toast. I added more of that free-from garlic and herb sauce. Apologies, forgot how my camera worked there for a second. And then added some kimchi on top. Now, if you're a fan of bland food, this is not the breakfast for you. Even I will admit kimchi at 10 a.m. is a bit extreme, but it is really, really tasty. And I could eat a pot of it at any second of the day. So I will continue. For lunch, I wanted to make a veggie Traybake, so I just got a pack of potatoes, chopped them into relatively small cubes. I did each one into 4 slices so that they would roast pretty quickly. Drizzled it with olive oil, salt, and pepper, and throw those in the oven for 20 minutes. While that cooks, you can chop up the vegetables for the Traybake. Here, I've chopped up some courgettes, some aubergine, and some pepper. Also just chopped up that half an onion that was left from the day before. Gave that all a good coating with oregano and some olive oil. Toss that, and after the potatoes are roasted for 20 minutes, add your veg on top, Flatten that down so that it can cook quite evenly. And then I got some green cuisine meatballs and just spaced them out on top. Chuck that back into the oven for another 20 minutes. Once all of that is cooked, you can just dish it up. I took half of the potato, half of the veg, and half of the meatballs and put all those on top. I then just spooned on some ASDA free from green pesto all over and added some pumpkin seeds on top. This is great because I've made it for 2 days, but you can, just make a huge amount for days and days, and it's a really easy meal. Then for dinner, I just had that leftover curry. This time I had it with rice instead of potatoes. Unfortunately, I only had Mexican rice, which is a bit of an odd combo, but it worked. I then spooned on the Raita on top and just added a ton of coriander. Then call me crazy, but later that evening I treated myself to some Oatly chocolate milk. Thursday for breakfast, I had avocado on toast. Top trick here, don't wash up a bowl and just mash a perfectly ripe avo in its own shell. Then added some salt, some pepper, some lemon juice, and just spread all of that onto the slice of toast. Toasted up some pumpkin seeds and chucked those on top, and then covered the whole thing in sriracha. For lunch, I just had that Traybake again. This time I had some spinach in the fridge, so I just threw that all on the bottom and then microwaved the Traybake, put that on top with some pesto, and that was lunch. Really quick and easy. For dinner, I felt like some noodles, so I chopped up a cube of tofu, sprinkled it on, sprayed it with olive oil, chucked on some soy sauce, and chucked that in the air fryer. I then chopped up a bunch of different vegetables to go with it. So first up was some red pepper. I also chopped up leftover mushrooms from earlier in the week. Got some tender stem broccoli, which I just chopped in half, and then also some mange too. Threw all of those together, and while it cooked, I grated up some ginger. To make the sauce, I get a spoon of miso paste, a quarter of a cup of soy sauce, a couple of tablespoons of sweet chili, a dash of what I think is rice vinegar, and some teriyaki sachets. Then also chuck in some garlic powder with no salt and give that all a good shake. Find out too late it's not properly sealed, but otherwise there you go, your sauce. I don't like warming up noodles, so what I usually do if I'm making it for 2 nights is at this point I remove half of the veg, put it in a Tupperware, and then only cook for 1 night. So to what you've got left, I added a couple of packs of udon noodles, as there were 2 of us, threw in half a pack of bean sprouts and saved the other half for tomorrow night, and then throw in half the sauce. Cook that for 2 minutes, and while you do, I just chopped up some spring onion, and then I dished up. This dinner's a perfect combination of sweet and salty, kind of tastes like a takeout, but filled with vegetables, and it's so good. I topped it with some spring onions and some sesame seeds. We actually buy this in bulk and toast it all up in one go and put it back in the bottle because we use it so often. And then that trusted kimchi, just added some of that onto the side. We also eat Korean and Japanese food so often that I buy my pickled ginger by the kilogram off Amazon. Then added my tofu on top, and that was dinner. Friday, I was busy all morning and didn't actually grab breakfast, so for lunch, I just got some Richmond sausages, put those in the air fryer, you can put them in the oven, toasted up a couple of slices of bread, put butter on both sides to really treat myself, and then I just chucked those sausages on top and topped it with some ketchup and some HP sauce. And that was it. I had a sausage sandwich for lunch. Now, these Richmond sausages make for the perfect sausage sandwich. If you're trying to impress a meat eater, give them this after a night out. And then for dinner, just had that leftover stir fry. We'd been working on the house all day, so I was starving. I just had some gyoza from Itsu on the side, some kimchi, and again, some pickled ginger. This time topped it with the leftover coriander I had in my fridge, some more spring onions, and of course those toasted sesame seeds. That was our last dinner of the week. On the weekend we were working on the house, so I didn't eat much, and when I did, it was a lot of takeout, so nothing to show you. I'll end it here on Friday. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please comment, like, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and I'll catch you in the next one.